Do you wish you were one of those people who seems to wake up every morning with an endless supply of business ideas? Well, in the next 5 minutes, I'll share with you 2 simple steps that will make you one of those people too, and a trick that can help you bypass the entire problem altogether. There are 2 main reasons why people struggle to generate business ideas, and it's not that they're not creative enough or everything's already been done. There are millions of potential business ideas out there, you just need to look with the right eyes. Most people approach this by trying to come up with cool technologies or products or services. But that's the wrong way around. It starts with the word itself. Business idea is a bad name. It gets people to approach this problem backwards. What people should be looking for instead is business problems. We all have problems. In fact, you might argue that all of life is just a series of problems and inconveniences. Every single one is potentially the heart of a business idea and could lead to the creation of a fabulous business that makes you rich. But most of us sleepwalk through life, either not noticing the problems or just complaining about them and moving on. So that's the first step. Slow down a bit and start noticing those problems. The problems can be anything. For example, I like to sit and type on my Mac and use a touchpad at the same time. And I love that the touchpad is right there so I don't have to move my hand to the side to touch my mouse. But that leads to me having bad posture, no matter where I put my Mac. So I've got an external keyboard and a touchpad, but they don't work like the Mac because they're not stuck together. Well, a lot of people notice this problem, and so on Etsy you can find a whole bunch of solutions to basically stick the external keyboard and touchpad together and make them behave like a MacBook. But that's not enough. Everyone notices stuff that's wrong and most people don't do anything about it. That's usually because they're missing the second step. Let's look at that before I mention the shortcut to skip this process entirely. In addition to noticing problems, you need to get into the habit of noticing businesses. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, look around, like almost everything you can see around here, out here in the street, was brought here by a business. Even the trees outside my house. So the question is, these businesses all made money. How? These are the things that you need to keep asking yourself until you've made it a habit. You see, for example, this pen. What are the things that need to happen so that the company that made this pen makes a profit and gets it in front of you? What about this fork? Same questions. What about this cat? Well, maybe let's forget about the cat. With ChatGPT, this process is now even easier. You can just ask it and it will give you some idea of how whatever business you're thinking of makes money. It's a brilliant tool to feed your curiosity and get you in the habit of envisioning business models. Then you just need to put those 2 things together. Whenever you notice problems and you start imagining a solution, don't just stop there. Imagine a business model. What would that business look like? What makes it tick? What would make it profitable? Life will keep throwing problems at you. If you keep turning them into business ideas, eventually some of those will seem like ideas you want to work on. Actually, eventually you'll end up with far too many ideas that you want to work on because there are a lot of problems out there once you start paying attention. If you do get to that stage, maybe go outside in nature and remember that everything's okay and you don't need to solve all these problems yourself. And finally, here's a trick so you can skip all that, though why would you want to? It's actually quite a fun process once you get into it. Well, I told you there'd be a trick, so here it is. You don't have to invent a new business model or product or any of that stuff in order to be a successful entrepreneur. In fact, most businesses aren't inventing new products or services. They just copy a pattern that already works and add a little bit of spin or take advantage of a weakness in an existing business or product.
The Silicon Valley scene has done a good job of trying to convince everybody that you have to build a completely innovative startup in order to make it in business. But that's just not true. You don't have to invent flight in order to make a successful business.
Just take a business model you're already familiar with and give it a new spin. This works particularly well with services businesses, which are naturally fragmented. If you know a lot about marketing, create another marketing agency that fills a niche that you don't think is well served. Or maybe focus on a specific sub-product of marketing like logo design or paid advertising, or anything else that you think you can do even slightly better. Learning to run a business is pretty hard even without inventing new products and new businesses. If you're a first-time entrepreneur, it may be that using this shortcut is the right way forward for you. If this video has given you any ideas, please mention them in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. And I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Now, by the way, if you do get an idea that you want to explore, what's the next thing to do? Well, a good thing to do next is something called a customer development interview. Now, if you don't know what that is, or if you know what it is but you'd like to know more, here's a video that I made that explains how to do customer development interviews in the next 5 minutes. GM, and good luck.